Today we are going to talk about Power Platform, and I have a small piece of slide that I'm going to share with you, and along with that, I'll talk something more about this topic. So I've been working in this industry since last 13 to 14 years. I have experience of Power Platform for more than 8 years, and I would be happy to share my experience and knowledge to you guys so that you can inculcate this knowledge to groom your skill set and information. If you got any doubt, any confusion, guys, so please write on chat. I'll try my best to respond to you even in the session, or it could possible that if I'm not able to respond in session, we can discuss this in our next session. Now, my first question: am I audible properly? My pitch and tone is absolutely fine to you guys. Could you please just respond on chat?
Yeah, perfectly fine, Ravi. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, okay, Akash, thank you. So let me share the agenda for today. We are going to be spending 1 hour today. And in that 1 hour, just a moment, let me pick the slide. This is the agenda that I'm going to cover in next 1 hour. And those who are already aware of this topic, please don't be surprised. And I know that this cannot be covered in 1 hour, but we are going to just have the taste of all these terms that we are seeing right now. We will be talking about Power Platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, Dataverse, and Power Virtual Agent. Now I move to the next slide. This is Microsoft Power Platform, and you can see what exactly it is. But before I talk about this, I just want to know on chat, you guys, how many of you are already aware of this Power Platform? Like basic definition, some information, some sort of knowledge from your colleagues, friends. How many of you are already aware of this technology by any of the source? Okay, I did not see any response. So I might consider it that maybe you guys are going to have this topic learned first time. So I'll go in that way, not a problem. So Microsoft Power Platform is the combination or it's the bucket of some tools and technology which is completely integrated all together. If you could see on your screen, it says that it's a low-code platform that spans Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and standalone applications. So basically, Microsoft has designed a tool that helps to create applications, that helps to create automation, that helps to create bot, and also some data analysis. How do we do that? So, with the help of Power BI, people can do the analysis. But in our entire series of this session, we will not be covering Power BI because that's the part of business analytics. It's a different subject altogether, though it's a part of same family. We will be focusing more on Power Apps and Power Automate because that is the key area of Microsoft Power Platform, which is actually very important to cover when we are learning Power Platform. And in completing any activity on Power Apps, Power Automate, PVA, or Power BI, you could see the three major components at the back and at the bottom: data connectors, AI builder, and Dataverse. These are the three important things that we should know and we should be aware of in order to complete all the activities performed on above four tools. Now, I'm going to move on to the next slide and I will be discussing more about Power Apps. Definition is already on your screen, and you must have already, since you're going to join the session, I am 100% sure you guys have uh, gone through the definition and things. But here I want to show you how Power Apps will look like, how it is going to help us, and how what kind of interface that we experience when we see the Power Apps. You could see here that Power Apps is the suite of apps and services that works associated with connectors, and it creates applications with the help of some components called Canvas app, model driven app, and portal app. Just a good to know information for you guys at the moment. Canvas app and model driven app. These are the two terms which are still being used. But portal apps is now known as Power Pages. So if you're going to search portal apps somewhere, you might see some outdated data. But if you want to see the latest information about portal apps, you should search for Power Pages because this is the new name of portal apps. So let me show you my screen where I can give you a good view of Power Apps interface. Just give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen again with some other information. So this is Power Apps. Now, when we talk about Power Platform, we think of entire ecosystem or entire uh, process or everything, every component that actually associated with Power Platform. So this is the entry page where we start working on Power Platform. Why am I saying so? Though Power Apps is just a tool, one of the tools available in Power Platform, but this is the entry page because this is how we come to know about the word of Power Platform. On this screen, you will see Power Apps homepage. On the left hand side, these are menu bars. On the right hand side, you will see the name of the environment and this setting page. Now you will see the similar thing in Power Automate as well. Here I will come later, but I'll talk about this page first. Now in Power Apps, when you log in, you will see the name of the environment. Here you will see the list of environments available. This environment is something we use to contain our information or contain our entities. When I say entities, we contain our Power Apps application, our Power Automate flows. In my next topic, we'll be discussing about our Power Automate virtual agent bots or Dataverse tables. So we contain all this information here in the environment. That means if we are going to create anything here in Power Apps, it must be stored somewhere. It must be having some place where we can keep it. So that is environment. Now I will be discussing environment in my upcoming sessions, but today I'm going to just give you the hint of all the items available here and all the tabs, menus which are visible on the screen. So you will have a fair idea about this Platform tools. Now, as I discuss about this environment where we contains all the information, we also have something which we used to use as a traveler, which is this solution. Now, this solution is the box or it's the place where we create our project, and that project actually help us to migrate our information or our entire setup from one environment to another environment. So if somebody has already worked in DevOps projects or in any other uh, software development project, so there's a life cycle that we follow, and in that life cycle we do the migration or we do the deployment from one place to another place. Like we start from development, we go to test, and then it goes to the production. So this entire journey is also fulfilled here in Power Platform. And how does it happen here? That is done with the help of solution. Now, if I say solution is the helping tool for migration in Power Platform, so this is a good justification of this term. Now, why do we use solution? In solution, we go and give it a display name. I can give it a name like Project X, Project K. It was very popular when Prabhas movie was being launched with Project K, so I just prefer this name. We can create this solution. We can give it a publisher name. I'll talk more about this later, but right now, in terms of demo purpose, we can create a publisher. So for this, I can write Project K123, just a publisher name, and search, and I will not get this. If I don't get this publisher name, what will I do? I will go to here and I can create one. Here I can write down one P123, P123. No space should be given here. Prefix is P123. Now if I go and search for P123, I get something here. Yes, I got it. P123. And then create. It takes some time. So when we create a solution, in that solution, we can create our apps. But this is not a thumb rule. Like we can go to here new and we can go and we can create our apps, model driven app, and you will see pages as I was discussing earlier that portal apps is now known as pages or power pages. So these are the three things that we can create directly from here. I can click on Canvas app and it can ask me either I can create in tablet or I can create in phone. So
What is the
if I choose
difference
this one,
between the three?
sorry,
So there were options like canvas app, portal, model driven, and page, right?
yes,
What is the
difference in between the three.
yeah,
Okay, though I will definitely cover all these topics, but since you asked, let me add that this tablet I'm going to create a test and I'll show you the difference. And don't worry, actually I'm not going to give the entire information for one topic right now because this 1 hour of demo session will I'll be covering the information of all the things. So don't worry about it. I'll talk about the difference, all the three you want. So this is the page which we create. Now this Power Apps is actually going to be created in this environment under that solution that we have created. Now, this is the standard process that everyone should follow. But I've seen in many organizations where we follow this process. We write this link main.powerapps.com and we go to create and then we come to this page, which is fine. At the beginning, if we are not aware of solution, we are not aware of environment, everything is fine. What we all know is we know this link. We can log into make.powerapps.com and we can come to this page and we will see this screen. Now, my suggestion, let's focus on this part only, blank app, because eventually you will be going to understand about these terms because these are nothing but the connectors. I will be talking about connectors later, not today, but later. But these are the connectors. This actually helps to make our uh, Power App data integrated. Now the question came that what is the difference between this Canvas app and model driven app and pages. So on your screen, whenever you click on create, you will see this screen when you click on blank app, where you will have three options. Either you can make a Canvas app, or you can make a model driven app, or you can make a website, which is Power Pages website. When you create a Canvas app, you will have a full control over it. You can change the look and feel. You can add your own components. You can add any data source. You can add SharePoint, you can add Excel, you can add SQL, Oracle DB, or there are thousands of connectors which are available that can be added with Canvas app, and Canvas app can perform accordingly. So there is a freedom. So when we talk about general mobile apps or general tablet apps, Canvas app is the tool actually that we use to create that. Now, unlike Canvas app, model driven is completely based on Dataverse. That means if you are going to create something on model driven, so model driven app will be performing any activity associated or integrated with Dataverse only. And that is required a premium license for that. If we want to create something with model driven app, let's say that we want to set up a approval process with the help of model driven app, that when new hire joins in or any production team wants to do some quality test and we want to create a quality testing process, in that case we create a four layers. I'm just giving a hypothetical example that we create a four layer. One layer will be from the quality team, second layer will be from the senior management team, and the third layer will be for the client end, and fourth layer will be for end users. Let's say that these are the four categories. Now, for setting up these four uh, pages, we need to have a proper data source for that. and that data source will be provided by Dataverse. This Dataverse is nothing but the part of this Power Platform. You could say this is the brain of Power Platform, where entire thing is revolving around. We have this topic as in the agenda, so we'll be discussing more about this. But the difference is this: Canvas app has freedom to add any other connectors, and it does not require any license, and we can change the look and feel as per our convenience and likes dislikes. But in model driven app, it has a standard view and look, and it works only on Dataverse, and it requires a premium license. For Power Pages, if we want to connect somebody from outside in a Canvas app and model driven app, there are two ways to add people. Either we are the employee of the organization and we will be given access by our IT team. Second is that if somebody is joining as a vendor and they want to join us, in that case, what they will do, they will ask for the external ID. Let's say that my company name is XYZ. So my email address will be, let's say, jamesxyz dot com. But somebody is coming from outside, then the email ID will be james.external, something like that, at xyz.com. And that person will be able to access this. In Power Pages, we create a website that is actually giving exposure to the external user because that is actually created for external users. Sometimes we create a portal where we want to have some information. Let's say that I have a confectionery and I want my customer to share their experience, feedback, or I want them to order some products. But how they will access to my website? Because they are not part of our organization, they are end users. In that case, they will use Power Pages website. With this, there are certain license that we use to give access to the external users. This is how they can enter our uh, environment and in our website. The difference between this and Canvas app and model driven app is that this is a website, proper website, and this give exposure to the outside their employees. And this is also based on premium license. We would require a license for that, and this license is completely different from the normal one. For Power Apps and Power for Canvas app and model driven app, we need Power Apps premium license. But for Power Pages, there is an independent license setup that we need to buy, which is a bit expensive, which actually used for big projects. So these are the basic difference. If you want to know more, we will definitely discuss this later. Now, if I talk about Power Apps, Power Automate. So this is the second member of Power Platform family, which actually very important. My suggestion is, let's say that if we are going to have discussion in future, so I'll definitely show you some creation or some making of Power Automate flow. But if somebody is very curious to start it with, so I can suggest that you can log into this make.powerautomate.com, and by going to this page, you will have many templates available. When you go to these templates, you can choose any of them based on your requirement. Let's say that approval, or let's say that data collection. In approval, what you will do, you can choose any of the information by which you can set up a approval process. This is the page of templates and it keeps on growing. Now you will see that there are many templates which are available and Microsoft updates templates time to time. Now you can also see that how many times this template have been used. Now this template have been used probably close to 136,061 times this has been used. And similarly others, you could say how many times they've been used. So it is not necessary that day one or day two or in within 1 month you you are not able to create any Power Automate. You can do that by using this template and it will work. That's not a problem. Now, if you don't use this template, you want to start from scratch, you can come to this create and you will see this types of Power Automate flows. Now, the scope of learning for our session is cloud, instant, and schedule. These are the three Power Automate flow that we will be learning. Now there's other thing that you could see on your screen, process mining and this desktop flow is a different subject altogether. That is not part of Power Automate flow creation, but when Microsoft presents something, it also includes so many additional features and tools within it, which is something we can discuss and we can talk. But just good to know information that desktop flow is actually an RPA tool that is work for RPA processes. Process mining is completely part of process data and other aspects where we use it. But this is actually we need to focus in our sessions: automated flow, instant flow, and scheduled flow. They are nothing but types of flows that we create to do our activity. And the difference between these three are nothing but the type of trigger that we use. Now, let me simplify this. Why do we call it automated cloud flow? Because it says that triggered by a designated event, and it says triggered by a manually as needed. That means in first instance, you don't need to click anywhere. You just need to set up one activity, and based on that activity, this a Power Automate flow will run. I mean to say that, let's say I have a Microsoft form or I have a Power Apps application for that matter. I have created an application here, and in that application, I have created a form. When somebody fills that form and clicks on submit, that becomes the trigger point, and based on that, automation flow runs. And what that automation flow will do, let's say it will share a notification to the line manager, and that line manager will see the information. Based on information, maybe if this form is asking for some budget approval, or this form is asking for some access approval, or any sort of information that manager needs to be given. So he will approve, she will approve that, and the flow will be completed. So in this case, automation is done itself. I did not click on button, or you did not click on button. You did not press anything, but based on event, flow has been run. In instance cloud flow, what happens that I am going to manually do something, and based on that activity, the flow will run. Manually do, it could be that at the beginning, I have created a box, and in that box, I will write certain information and I click on run. The moment I will do that, the flow will run. So first cloud flow is automated, instant cloud flow is manual, and scheduled flow is that we want to run some activity in a certain interval. Let's say that I have created a flow and I want to cascade some information in my team, and that needs to be done once in a week or once in a month, maybe once in a 2 months, something like that. So we use scheduled cloud flow in which we schedule our automation that takes place at a defined timeline. So these are the three difference of these three, and these are the cloud flows that we use. Now, there are few similarities that you will see in, I go back to the studio. In Power Apps, on the left hand side, you will see solution, flows, tables, connections, gateway, and more options. In the same way, you can come here and you can click on more, and you will see many options here. So if you want to create a solution, you can come to Power Automate and you can create it. If you want to create a solution, you can come here and create it. So in both places, you can check this out and you can create the solution. You want to see the connectors, you can go to Power Automate and you can check it. If you want to see the connections, in fact, you can come here and you can see the same information here. So the purpose of saying so is that the common uh, options are available in both the places, and they share their features together, so we can use them in both the tools, in Power Apps and Power Automate.
Can't
Now,
we combine together the Power Automate and Power Apps into one solution?
sorry.
So you have opened two windows, right? Like Power Apps and
Mm-hmm.
Power Automate.
Mm-hmm.
So there in both windows there is option like for creating solution. But if at all in the Power Apps we require somehow somewhere to call the Power Automate, within the same Power App solution, can we create the Power Automate thing?
Yes, of course. See, uh, this is the studio. We call it Power Automate Studio. We call it Power App Studio. So we need a place where we can do some development. So this is the place where we do cloud flow creation. And this is the place where we do Power Apps creation. But at the end, we can have one solution where we can keep all our Power Apps applications and all our Power Automate flows all together. It is possible. And you can access Power Apps and Power Automate anywhere. You can come to solution available in Power Apps and you can access apps and flows both. Similarly, you can come to here in this solution, you can access both. In fact, if I created a solution here, project K, and if I click on here solution, it is taking some time. You will see the same project name here as well. Just give me a moment. I have just changed the environment because we need to be on the same environment to have the access. Now, do you see project K? So this is nothing. There is no copy of it. This is the same and solution that I have created here and I'm seeing here. So that means someday you have created something here and you just accidentally or purposely came here and you want to access that solution, you can do that. So it can be stored. Hope I answered your question.
Okay, yeah. And even if you are into Power Apps, if you want to do some development in Power Automate, we need to go to this make.powerautomate.com and we need to develop related to Automate, or there itself in Power Apps only we can do the development work related to Power Automate.
See, if you are sitting here and you want to create a app, you can do it. This is the standard process. If you are here, you want to create a flow, you can create here. And this is just one click, make.powerautomate.com, make.powerapps.com. This is why they are created separately. But let's say that you want to create a flow directly here. The link is already available on the left hand side. You can click this and you can create a flow. But it any which ways, it is not going to impact or affect anything. It is just a way of working. My habit is that first of all I create a solution, and going to solution I can uh, go to solution and I can create a app or I can create a flow. This is my habit. But there are people who don't create solution. They just go to directly to the studio here and they create an app and they come here, they create a flow, and after that they move this to a particular or dedicated solution. So that's just a way of habit. Now we have discussed about Power Apps and Power Automate. And trust me, guys, this is just the first day. So we are just talking high level, but there's a lot more to discuss in detail about everything and anything that I have talked over the call right now. So my other agenda is to talk about Dataverse. Now here to show you Dataverse, I come to this page and I click on table. Now you will see the table here and here in both places. I can either come here and I can go here. I can click on Dataverse table. This is actually used to manage many things. This Dataverse is not about only tables. You might get to see that some people will talk about that we go to Dataverse and use it as a data source. Of course, Dataverse is used as data source. Earlier, it was known as CDS, but now it is known as Dataverse. Now, Dataverse is actually managing databases, tables, schema, and model driven solution that we've talked about. And apart from that, all the security things, access, permission, everything is actually managed by Dataverse at the background. There are many things that we will be talking. We will have a specific session on Dataverse only. We will be talking about how Dataverse actually work at the background and how it helps to drive entire Power Platform technology. So we will talk more about it. But here, just a glimpse of it. I want to tell you that we can come to this page and we can just either add a column and a data, or we can create a new file, or like this create a virtual table, or if we already have a file available, we can import here. Like we can just import and we can add here. So we can bring information from Excel, we can bring information from SharePoint and paste here and make our own tables. Some standard tables are already available here. You could see on screen. Now When I talk about Dataverse, you will also see this a very common uh, term that is used here, managed and unmanaged. In fact, when I was working here, go to solution, you will see managed and unmanaged. So let me give you a brief information about this managed and unmanaged by going to this table. So when anything which is managed here, that is actually logged, limited, restricted. When something is unmanaged, that means that is unlogged, unrestricted, uncontrolled, free to use. Anybody can come and play with it. It is like that. So in tables, the security feature is so powerful that when you say manage it, it can be accessed only by those people who are given permission to it, not by those people who are not able to access this page. So in terms of security, Dataverse is very powerful. When we talk about permissions, it is also managed through Dataverse only. Like if you want to give access to anybody uh, for development, want to give access for administration, everything will be given through Dataverse only at the back. Now, when I talk about Dataverse, how actually it is enabled, let me show you that. When I am on this page, I come to this screen and go to this admin center. Now, this admin center is not for Power Apps. This admin center is Power Platform Admin Center, which actually works for everything. Power Apps, Power Pages, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent for everything. This is the admin center that is actually managed by the administration part, who actually see how many environments have been created in their organization here. This is the list of environments which are created. Now, in this admin center, we create environment. If we want an environment, we request this from our admin team and they create environment for us. An individual developer in any organization are not allowed, and it is not feasible to create their own environment. Otherwise, every employee will come and create environment, and that will actually uh, wastage of data, wastage of uh, resource. So that's why it is always limited to the uh, administration, and who actually decides and defines whether somebody needs the environment or not, or in any existing environment people can do their performance and activity. So in this environment we create, why did I came to this page? Because I wanted to show you this part, add a Dataverse data store. So until I take this part, I can do that right now. Just a moment. If I click on test environment and choose the default as Europe and just click on save. I did not do anything, just clicked on save. And I did not enable this Dataverse. So I just want to see how it is going to impact. I'm waiting for some time. It says that loading environment. So let's wait for some time. The environment will be created. But creating this environment is not time taking activity, but within an organization, getting it approved, that is something we need to take care of. Where's my environment? I think here it is. So I click on this environment. And now you will see this is the sandbox environment. Don't worry guys, in coming sessions I will talk about this as well. I am again repeating myself that in this session I am just giving the overview, so there must be many terms and topics that you might be confused with, but don't worry, everything will be clear. But here I am just showing you something related to Dataverse. It says sandbox and it says purpose, not specific, it says region. There's one part which is missing here, that is access part. Now just see the screen. Now you will, some components are missing here, some components are missing here. If I go and click here, it says add Dataverse. Let's say I click here and I go to this. And I'm just going to add any of the security group. Let's say this one and add. What did I do? At the beginning, when I did not add Dataverse, so there are few parts which were missing. this should be available now. Let's say I just type here test and go to find the latest one. Okay, it says new environment test. Environment is preparing. It can be used. It is ready. So I'm refreshing the page so that I can see my environment. Here it is successfully created. Now click on this. Now you will see earlier there are many components which are missing, like security group. This part was missing. Now here this security role, users, teams, business units, everything was missing because Dataverse was not here. But now Dataverse is here. Now we can manage our access, permission, security, limitation, everything because I have enabled this Dataverse. So, and in a nutshell, the purpose of showing this page was that Dataverse is not only working or serving as a data source, but it is also helping at the background to managing the entire solution or entire technology at the background. Now, if I talk about this Power Virtual Agent, no, I cannot access to this page because it requires some license, but today I don't have license available, so I can just talk verbally about this. On Power Virtual Agent, this page, I just keep this page only. Let's say let's try if I have been given access. I just click on create. Thanks, we are setting up your pilot. Okay, thank you. Let's see if I'm able to access it. So meanwhile it is accessing. If it accesses, I'll see the screen. If it doesn't, then we will talk. On the left hand side, you'll see it says Copilot Studio. So this is again as a separate topic altogether. Copilot Studio. There are many people, since you guys are from uh, somehow directly or indirectly connected to the technology, you must be aware that Microsoft has launched. Okay, that's great. I can see the page now. So Microsoft has launched the new term called Copilot. Now Copilot is everywhere. Copilot is actually working in layman language. You must have heard that ChatGPT is there, where we ask question and answers. Similarly, Copilot works for Microsoft, fully aligned and integrated feature that actually making their tools more advanced. But if you want to customize our Copilot features, here this is the place, Copilot Studio, which is known as Power Virtual Agent. If you see the link here, PVA, Power VA, so it means Power Virtual Agent. But on the screen, branding purpose, you will not see anywhere Power Virtual Agent. What you will see Copilot Studio. So it's a different topic altogether. It's not a part of this entire course. We will be just having a basic discussion about it and some clips on some bots, but in detail we will discuss it in separate topic because it's very vast. It has got many sessions and many discussion points, so we will discuss in separate sessions. In this entire series we will be focusing on Power Platform, Power Apps, and Power Automation. Now these are some terms like topics, plugins, and entities. Based on that we design our bot. And Copilot Studio, we create chatbots, and those chatbots are integrated with our internal applications that can be integrated either with Powerapps, that can be integrated with Power Automate, that can be integrated with website, anything that we are working on. As you know, you must have interacted with your banks, interacted with your some, you know, Aadhaar card office or in any department, they have launched their specific bot where we ask certain questions and it answers. So many travel agencies are offering this features. So similarly, this bot solves the same purpose, that this provide us that functionality where we actually teach this, we actually train this tool to create a very intelligent bot that actually helps us to give us information. We can add this with certain connectors, and that connector actually gives us some data, and based on their data and associated with a large language model, this is the machine learning term, it actually through the output, and that output is actually our demand that we require from this tool. So Power Virtual Agent create bots, Power Automate creates flows, Power Apps that creates applications, within that Power Pages that creates websites. So these are the main features and information that is done by this. I actually have this much content for today, and I purposely kept this 10 to 15 minutes for you guys so that within this session you can ask some questions so that we can set up some expectation for our upcoming sessions. So now I'll
Yeah,
take the
hello.
stage for you guys. Yes.
In Power Automate, there are 200 plus connectors. In that, which connectors you are going to explain?
Okay. Could you please again let me know the number? What did you say? There are 200 connectors.
Yes, there are 200 plus connectors, right? Like SharePoint, OneDrive, Outlook,
Okay. So
Microsoft
just
Data Worker.
thank you so much. And just to update your information, there are more than 1,000 connectors available.
Okay.
Yeah, there are more than thousands of connectors available. And connector is
Yes.
not a topic. Yeah, connector is not a topic that we will be covering because this is something business requirement thing. If I teach you SharePoint, it is not necessary that you are going to work on SharePoint. You might be working on Dataverse. If I teach you Dataverse, you might be working on Oracle DB. You might be working on Azure blobs. So your requirement will be anything. What we will be learning that how we will connect with any connector because process is going to remain the same, right? We cannot
Okay.
work on all the thousands of connectors, but we want to know here that how we connect with the data source and do our activity in Power Apps. When you come to know the process of connecting the connectors, then you can connect any connector. It is just depend on the subscription and license. What kind of
Okay.
license subscription you have? Yes. Now, when you talk about connectors, there's one connector called SQL Server. If that is on your on premise and you want to connect it, this gateway is available on the left hand side where you use on-premise data gateway to connect your SQL Server data source here, which requires a permission, internal security permission, which also requires approvals, which also require license for uh, Power Apps premium license. Apart from that, you also need to have the access to the SQL Server. So this is some prerequisites with one connector. I tell you. In the same manner, every connector comes with its own requirements, prerequisites, and demands. And that is something decided by the project leads. When somebody sits and design a project, let's say you are the project manager, you're going to work on a project. So you will design a business case, and based on that, you will write down your requirements and write down your information. And based on that, it is decided what kind of connectors can be used. But being a developer, he need to be prepared if any connector comes. So how can we connect? So you don't focus on any specific connector. Focus on how to connect the connector. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. And any other question? Okay. If there's no question, so I can
Which type
just
of
stop. Please go
Ravi,
on.
Ravi, which type of
Mhm.
project you are going to cover in the course? And one more point I want to ask, I wanted to know. Uh, I didn't understand basically what was your intention to start with the solution tab, right? We have a solution tab, right? As you said that
Mhm.
that tab is basically used for the migration, right? Let's say if you want to
Mhm.
migrate some project from other RP to like UiPath to a Power App or Blueprint to Power App, right? So at the time,
Mhm.
basically we use solution tab, right? So what was the
Mhm.
purpose behind that? Two questions from my
Okay.
side, yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'll start one by one. I would like to answer the first question, sorry, second question first because that's the very short answer. And then I'll move to the second one. Sorry, then I move to the first one. So the answer to the second question is this is a very basic practice that people should follow to start solution. I am promoting this personally to everywhere in all the organizations. What people do actually, they go to here, make.powerapps.com. Guys, I just have a very important call. Just give me a second. I can extend the session for 2 minutes, but I need to attend that call. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm extremely sorry, guys, for taking so long. Right? So the answer to the second question is that I always promote this thing that if you are going to work on any project, start with solution because eventually when you do the migration, you need the solution to have all the information associated with. There are many people who have created multiple applications and they have created multiple Power Automate which are actually working for certain applications, but somehow they are so scattered that after that, when they start creating a solution and moving their applications and flows in that one solution, just give me a second. Sorry, guys. So when we use solution, we keep our all the data in one place, apps and automate. Let's say we are creating a SharePoint and we want to create an environment variable. So we do it at first time. But if we come uh, uh, later when we have already created our apps and flows, sometimes it shows some errors and people struggle to move their application from free page to the solution. So that's why this is my way of working where I start working with solution only. That's why I showed you the solution. It is not necessary that you just need to do the migration then only use solution. If you want to keep your information in one place only, so whenever somebody needs that, please migrate it, you are always ready. It saves your time actually,
Correct.
because you
Yeah,
will have a,
got it.
yeah. Second, answer to the first question is that when you sorry, I lost. Answer the first question, what kind of projects I'm going to cover. So I'm going to cover a Canvas app and a model driven app. And in Canvas app, we will be creating an application where you will see some features related to filters, related to some conditions, some combo packs, where you will see some controls that can be helpful to use them in other applications as well. So this is something I'm going to cover the Powerapps application. I will also show you the purpose of the components. I will also talk about the delegable and non-delegable uh, features differences and how we can increase the bandwidth of our data which is limited to 500. How can increase to that? We will show you. We will also see the difference when we work with limited access and extended feature. We will uh, work on Power Apps flows related to the approval flows, which we will be doing live here. And I will also talk about the environment variables and also talk about compose function in Power Automate. And these are some examples. There are many things that we'll be discussing, but we will see all the three cloud flows. We will be having a project related to the automated flow and the manual flow and the schedule flow. We will see all these three things. We will also create a table in Dataverse. We will also learn how to give the security access, how to create the environment, and we will also learn that how we can give access to anybody. Like if you want to give a maker access or admin access or any other access, how we can do that. So we will also learn about that as well. So these are the few information that I told you, but there's a lot more that I am going to cover. Hope I
And
answered the question. Yeah,
yeah, I
please.
have a question here. So this is a web-based one. So if 2 or 10 people in a team are working on same application, so
Mhm.
how do we manage that application?
That's not a problem. So there is an integration function which is available in Power Apps. We need to enable that feature in Power Apps, and we can do that. And I keep that note in it so that the moment I'll show this application demo or I'll create the Power Apps with you, I will also show you that if 4 or 5 people are working, or maybe more than that, people are working, how we can do the integration, like parallelly how people can work. So that is absolutely possible in it, and we will definitely see that. There is an integration option that needs to be enabled.
Can we integrate with Azure DevOps or Git
Yes,
kind of
yes.
thing for
See,
version control?
so, so yes, of course we can do that. But this is not going to be part of this session. I can just show you that
Ca-
DevOps is used for
Can
migration.
we
Sorry.
can we connect to Microsoft CRM Dynamics with Microsoft Dataverse?
Yes, yes, we can. And this is the basic. We can create with Microsoft Dynamics or Dataverse because that is actually a part of our platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
So,
creating entities, tables, relationships, workflows, JavaScript plugins.
okay. So when it comes, yes, JavaScript can be created. That's not a problem. But Power Platform is always recommended to work with low code, no code features. So it is always recommended to avoid any kind of coding,
Okay.
because eventually it will not solve your purpose. Where we are going to ready to do hard work, there is no point in working on Power Platform then. We can do the custom application development then. But it's okay.
Okay.
The creativity has no end. If you want to do and test something, we can do that.
And can we create pipelines, CI/CD pipelines to deploy to another environments here?
Yes, yes, of course. See, If we go by DevOps, we need additional license on permissions for DevOps as well. But now Power Platform has given the same feature enabled in it, which is called Power Pipelines. We use that pipelines and we can do the migration within Power Platform only without any additional service from Azure required for it. And if we do that, we need the premium license and we need the managed environment. And we will discuss about managed environment in upcoming session. There are normal environments, which is known as dev, test, and prod. We also need to know managed environment, which is actually used for this function of migration or creating pipelines within it. Guys, I'm
Okay.
so sorry, but I've got another call back to back, and that's why I just kept on mute. But we will definitely see you session. And any question that you're holding right now, just keep it with yourself, and I'll promise that I'll answer them in our next session. Hope that's fine, you guys.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks, Ravi.
Thank
Yeah.
you so,
Thanks.
thank you very much, guys.
Thank
And it
you.
was nice, yeah, having discussion with you guys, and I'm really appreciating you guys that you ask questions. Just keep a note of all the questions that are coming with you, and we will discuss it on next session. Okay, thank you.